There isn't a scissors, so here's the knife. It looks blunt. I don't know how this is going to work. Goodbye, scarf. Oh, my poor scarf. Hello hikers, welcome back to African Hiker. I'm Anita and I make videos about various hiking trails in Africa. We are in Rwanda and we're about to take our first trip on a moto taxi in Kigali. Step one was to get something to cover our heads. This is just so the experience feels more hygienic. Ready? Safety first.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, where do I put my feet? On your engine? Where?
In the front, there. Sit.
Okay. There. And then.
Get that.
There we go. A moto taxi is a cheap and nippy motorcycle taxi that is used to get around in Kigali and other parts of Rwanda too. Moto taxis are easy to use and widely available. As a tourist, they make for a fun way to explore Kigali. Here is my experience with moto taxis in Rwanda. Each moto can carry only one passenger and helmets are mandatory. This rule is very strict, but what surprised me is that none of the cyclists wear helmets and neither do their passengers. Do you see how tightly I was holding on to my moto driver? I had fear running through my veins. I think what made me more freaked out was that we were on the opposite side of the road, aka the wrong side, not the right side. My driver drove very sensibly and he would slow down every time I squeezed him. Okay, we have established that this is fun, but how much does it cost to go on a moto ride in Kigali? There are no set prices for the ride. You tell the driver where you want to go and he gives you an amount. It is open to negotiation. As a tourist, you will be quoted a higher amount. Judith, the owner of the guest house we stayed at, told us the average price is 500 Rwandan francs, and if you go somewhere far, then it's 1,000. Not once did we ever get charged anything less than 1,000 Rwandan francs. 1,000 francs is $1, so roughly 17 Rand. For a 2.5 kilometer ride to the Kigali Convention Center, we were charged 1,500, but then we negotiated it down to 1,000. It also didn't help that we stayed in a touristy neighborhood, so we would find that it almost always costs less to get a motor taxi from other parts of the city. The most we paid for a motor was 3,000 Rwandan francs, which is like 50 Rand, and that was for a ride to town to see the Christmas lights. Cheap thrills. The whole city was lit up for the festive season. The buildings and the streets looked so magical. And we weren't the only ones enjoying the lights. Everybody was out with their friends and families. It was so wonderful to see. One of the hurdles when using a moto is that the drivers don't seem to know where anything is. It might be the language barrier.
The golf course.
I found it best to name a popular place or a landmark in the area where you want to go. Surprisingly, a map didn't help much. I don't understand.
So
Show me.
Okay, Kigali Stadium. It's here. Bye.
Yes, I know.
Munenza.
Yes, I know.
You know where it is?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. If you drop me off by the stadium?
Yeah.
Okay. Motorbikes make up more than half of the vehicles on the road, and motor taxis are readily available at all hours of the day. The only thing that slows them down is the rain. But the rain doesn't last too long, and soon we're on the road again.
Wonderful place.
Thank you. This is my driver. What's your name?
My name is Jacques. James
Jacques.
English. Jacques, I'm France.
Oh, I'm Anita.
Anita, right.
Yeah. So now it's raining, so we've all stopped
Okay.
and waiting for the rain to stop. And off we go.
Okay.
He was my favorite driver. I liked him so much that I asked him to please wait while we ran our errands and drive me around the rest of the day. Obviously, we compensated him for his time. He spoke English well and had a good bearing of where most of the places we wanted to go were. On top of that, he had such a kind soul and was so patient with us. Having him around to translate also made other interactions leaps and bounds easier. In general, Rwandans are friendly and will offer a helping hand. It's amazing how quickly a crowd will gather. So they're gonna put this on the motorbike. Okay. Oh, they're moving lines. These little limes. This is how he's traveling. Using a moto is the most convenient way to get around in Kigali. The motos zip through traffic and before you know it, you've arrived at your destination. Of course, there are risks when using this method of transport, but I found that many of the drivers err on the side of caution. To an outsider, it may not look that way. It looks like complete chaos on the roads, but they know their traffic system, they know their roads, they know what's going on. Just believe, trust, have faith. I quickly became accustomed to riding on the motos, and I no longer held on to my drivers as if my life depended on it. When you're in Rwanda, definitely make use of the motor taxis. As I've said many times in this video, they are so much fun and they're cheap and convenient. It's a great way to go sightseeing in Kigali. I took a moto to so many different parts of town. I've seen pretty much the whole of Kigali on the back of a moto, even the outskirts. I will say that it is scarier riding on a moto in like the outskirts of town on the dirt roads. Like, oh my gosh, that's worse than in the city with the traffic, the dirt. Oh, that was scary. And then coming down hills is also pretty scary, and some drivers, they just let loose. Oh gosh. But yes, good times all round. Good times all round. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. This is always the worst part. But thank you. Goodbye.